Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. Last week I finished off with in the most serious links that I supplied, an economist saying that the solution to the falling birth rate affecting the economy was to get more women in the economy workforce. Whether that would affect the falling birth rate is anyone's guess, because if a woman's working, she can't be at home looking after her children. Anyway, I'll finish off this low birth rate tangents thread this week, as I want to do something else about MGTOW or another topic next week. Anyway, on the same week that I looked on the previous links, which was not yesterday but the Sunday before, I found this. As you can see, it's a site called PRB. I had a look around and it seems to be a sort of global think tank affecting politics and economies on the world stage, and sort of looking ahead what could be coming down the line. As you can see, the title is Low Fertility Not Politically Sustainable, which means that the low fertility rates of various countries will severely affect the economies and the political situation in those countries. Now, take a look at the date, 1st of September 2001, or about 21 years ago. Now, MGTOW, I've noticed in looking around, started around the year 2000, but the MGTOW philosophy as it's such didn't kick in till about 2010. But guys turning their backs on women must have been noticeable in government circles, and some alarm bells are starting to clang. What will this happen to the future economy? Now, oh, you dozy sorry you do that for. If you look down, it says total fertility rates. Apart from Hong Kong, you can see various countries, and they're all below the 2.1 to replace the population. Now, this bit is, whoops. Do it the other way. Hate it when that happens. This bit is interesting. It essentially says that if the population reduces in size with women not having children, it's not only the young that produces the age structure balance, but the population goes into dramatically sustainable rapid decline. As it says, not only amongst the young, reducing an age structure creates a momentum for future population decline, a situation that must be stopped at some point if the population is to be dramatically sustainable, which the Japanese government are starting to realize at this moment. Also, populations with low fertility can fall in size at an extremely rapid rate. And it says the longer low fertility is maintained, the harder it becomes to reverse the population decline. Countries wishing to avoid this situation need to be aiming at sustaining higher levels of fertility. Hence, in Denmark, the Do It for Denmark campaign, which flopped, while their age structures still provide momentum for population growth. In other words, a social program, which means women getting goodies. Now, that's the global think tank 21 years ago. Fast forward 18 years, the University of Alabama suddenly realized the effects of a declining birth rate on the labor force. Now, this is a little article. This bit just essentially says the end results of these factors are unnecessary or negative labour shortages, wage pressures and large turnover rates. That would be Amazon. But Amazon has sucked up all the available workforce in some states. And it says the declining birth rate has had some positive effects on the labour force, which means raising wages or so, because the companies need to keep the workforce, otherwise they'll go somewhere else. You had the same issue in the Middle Ages after the Black Death. And it says companies are offering incentives to keep older workers working past retirement age. Now, I've been sort of offered that myself, but I don't think I'll be doing that, as I reached 66 at Christmas Day and I've more or less had enough. It's been 51 years since I left school at 15, and I don't really want to carry on working until I drop. It says older workers can sometimes replace the lack of younger employees. Maybe so, but they just want to work the older workers till they drop, and then he gives the opportunities, all the goodies. Businesses are learning that people of all shapes, sizes, colours and backgrounds can be good workers. That's because businesses know that they've got to keep the workforce, otherwise they'll be going out of business. And you can more or less blame feminism for that, as this one will show. Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. Now this was written October 12th, 2021, about 2 years after this was written, which was July 29th, 2019. As you can see, it says Texas birth rate decline complicates economic growth prospects. Birth rates have steadily declined in the US, peak since 2007. Remember, fourth wave feminism started in 2010. Surprisingly, birth rates of women of childbearing age have fallen faster in Texas and nationally. And then it goes the graph. And this is where first wave feminism kicked in. We got third wave and fourth wave feminism. Sorry, my mistake. It kicked in there. MGTOW was going since about 2000, and then MGTOW became mainstream, and you can see the dramatic drop-off of falling birth rates. Same within Texas. So, fourth wave feminism kicks in. MGTOW started to gain steam. In 2014, there was a bit of a rise in birth. 2016, MGTOW came on the mainstream in the US media, all the media outlets, and that was the result. And you got the birth rates. The highest one in America is that state there. I have no idea which one that is. That could be South Dakota. Or is that South Dakota? Not being American, I wouldn't know. But Texas here is more or less in the middle. California has a low birth rate, and Maine and the eastern states, and that one's even more depressing. Is that Ohio? I wouldn't know. Anyway. And here's the birth rate, the fastest among Hispanic women in Texas. Now once again we have fourth wave feminism kicking in 2010. And look at the drop. And then we've got the other races in America, white, black and Asian. The more or less bumping along, and then 2016 when MGTOW gets in the mainstream media in America, and you see the dramatic drop in births. And then we get another chart decline amongst younger women in Texas. That was 2007, peak birth year. That was 2019. Girls are probably not having children then, but this is the main years when women do tend to have children, and as you can see, a dramatic drop. This is where people generally get married these days, also a drop. This is women post-war, desperate for a baby. This is women even further past the wall, and women on their last chance to have children. They little trying a bit, but not a chance. And then we have the reasons why, or I should say the excuses on this article. Then I've also found this from a Millbank Memorial Fund, the Millbank Quarterly. As you can see, it's titled Social Determinants of Declining Birth Rates in the United States, Implications for Population Health and Public Policy, which means going back to this one, politically sustainable, not. And this was written November 10th, 2021, or more or less this time last year. Now, the only thing which about MGTOW relevant will be this paragraph. The US birth rate dropped 4% in 2020 as always record low before the pandemic. So you could sort of blame that. The birth rate in 2020, the birth rate was 55.9 live birth for every 1,000 females aged 15 to 44, trending downward for the 6th consecutive year. The total fertility rate, which is a population statistic that stimulates the average number of children in birth cohort, will go through with current age-specific birth dates. The total fertility rate of America, like in Western Europe, in that one, is gone from 2.2 replacement level to 1.64, which is a dramatic drop, which is far below the 2.1 level for population stability. This decline is primarily being driven by declines in births amongst those under 35 years of age, including teens and immigrants. Now, if you go back to that, fourth wave feminism kicks in there. And this is a better one. Fourth wave feminism, teens. Girls, when they reach that 2016, they probably have only been leaving school 12, 14 years of age. They get indoctrinated with feminism. They decided, I don't need no men, and they're not going to have children, and there's the result. And there's the result. Now, nobody's questioning or asking what the guys think. So I found this. There's no date on it. It says, what will governments do to the MGTOWs? And this is the only relevant one. I hate it when that happens. There. It's a question of time before governments are forced to come to terms with the MGTOW movements. It's a philosophy, because these men's live movements, it's not a movement, are wiping out whole populations due to them refusing to marry and, more importantly refusing to have kids, which will have a catastrophic effect on the birth rate, whoops, wrong one, which is showing there, and in time will crash the population. In both the US and Japan now, a whopping 2/3 of young men under 35 refuse to marry and have kids. Now there's the result. And there's the result, 2016. From then onwards, just a dramatic drop. Asian Pacific Islanders, not Hispanic, they come down. Black or African Americans, that's the yellow one. It was 2015 and then a sharp decline. And white, that'd be that one. Around about 2014, 2015, and then an also drop. So now you're looking at that low level. Hispanics will probably, if they carry on, it'll be around about 2022, 2023, which more or less we are now. But 2/3 of young men in America are classified as MGTOWs according to this article, so it's anybody's guess what's going to happen with the demographics. The midterm elections are coming in a couple of weeks or so, and it'll be interesting to see what the demographics of the voting turnout is. But the politicians saw this coming in 2001, and the alarm bells were clanging in Alabama in 2019 and in Texas in 2021. And also, women now are starting to worry. That lady there, Paula M. Lance, social determinants of declining birth, that must be what she specialises in. Anyway, MGTOW obviously is having a dramatic effect on the population, and it's gonna be more prevalent as the years go on, as the commentators that I've read on YouTube and that said that more and more American guys are now turning their back on children and marriage because of the divorce laws, etc. So it's anyone's guess what's going to happen. I think we're past the 10-minute mark now, maybe way past it, so I'll stop it now. You're right, people, you know the routine. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. It's completely up to you. But it seems no matter what the mainstream media says, MGTOWs are having an effect on both the population and especially the economy. So until next Monday, that's it. Bye-bye.